From running into old enemies who were thought to be long gone, to possibly getting the closure we've wanted the main character to have for so long, let's dive into some John Wick 4 plot predictions and theories.
Will I be hearing from you anytime soon?
Goodbye, Charlie.
John.
Starting off with the most talked about theory these days, because guess what? John Wick and the Bowery King may work together. Now, after helping John escape in Chapter 2, we know the Bowery King is hurt by Zero and seems to be killed for it. But at the end of the movie, it turns out that the Bowery King is still alive and well, though the sword strikes from Zero have left him with a lot of scars. John Wick is hurt, so the TikTok man brings him to the Bowery King, and both of them say they want to get back at the high table. How it could play out in John Wick 4 is that with both Wick and the Bowery King being turned against the high table, it looks like war is coming between the two sides.
I had a marker. Whose? Her brother.
The Bowery King has an army of killers who look like they're homeless and spread out all over the city. Since Wick is probably still angry at Winston for shooting him, a team-up is a very real possibility. Not gonna lie, we Matrix fans will be thrilled to see more of Reeves and Fishburne on the screen together, which is likely to happen a lot in John Wick 4.
Where did you want to go?
Casablanca.
The path to paradise begins in hell.
Speaking of the high table, we could potentially see more of it in the upcoming movie. Some of the inner workings of the high table were shown in the first two John Wick movies, but the movies have also kept most of the details of how the council works a secret, leaving just enough mystery for fans to want more. Pretty smart if you ask me.
And your son took that from me. Stole that from me. Killed that from me!
John Wick 3 showed us who the adjudicator is and how the high table gives out punishments, like when John cuts off his own finger in front of the elder to show how dedicated he is to his mission.
The blade is in your aorta. You pull it out, you will bleed and you will die.
This is the end of the line.
So in the fourth movie, since the Bowery King and John Wick might be at war with the high table, you can expect to learn more about how the council works and about the people who are on it. This could be another great way for the series to get big-name actors to play supporting roles, like they did with Halle Berry and Lawrence Fishburne in the last two movies.
The real question is, who do you wish to die as? The Baba Yaga? The last thing many men ever see, or as a man who loved and was loved by his wife? Who do you wish to die as, Jonathan?
Then we have a character who's had some switch-ups in the past. I mean, so many of us at this point are wondering, will Winston turn out to be bad? At least for a few minutes. Back in John Wick 3, after helping John Wick fight back against the high table in a crazy shootout at the Continental, Winston turns on John to please the adjudicator. He fires 2 shots at John and watches as he falls off the hotel roof. Winston could have shot John in the head and killed him in the end, but he didn't. Instead, he hit John with 2 bullets that didn't kill him. Wick probably should have died when he fell off the roof, but I mean, we all know he's too badass for that. At the end of John Wick 3, Winston was able to keep control of the Continental, but it cost him his friendship with John, at least for now.
Good seeing you again, John.
Perkins. I have you for 2 nights?
Depending on business, it may be more.
Of course, sir.
Winston is one of the best characters in the series and has been John Wick's friend for a long time. So even if he's on the bad side at the beginning of Chapter 4, he could meet up with John again at the end. We might see John Wick and the Bowery King fight against the high table before something big happens that makes Winston switch sides again. Winston wants to keep control of the Continental, and if he can do that and help John again in Chapter 4, he'll probably go that way. When it comes to fan theories, some people have even started predicting what the movie could be based on the locations they're being filmed at. One fan seems to think that there will be a chain of events in Berlin. King Kitty based their theories on news and updates, which makes a lot of sense based on what fans already know. This specific Redditor seems to think that a lot of events will probably play out in Berlin, since they've been filming there. But it's unlikely that the whole movie will take place in Berlin. Instead, it could be a short scene like John's trip to Rome in Chapter 2, and then to Casablanca in Chapter 3, Parabellum. In fact, the crew didn't just go to Germany, they also went to Japan and France, where they shot scenes for John Wick 4. The world of the series grew a lot with Parabellum, and it looks like the fourth movie will grow it even more. So it seems like we could see 3 more European continental hotels. I mean, who knows? We've talked about how Winston could turn out in the upcoming sequel, but what about John Wick's side of things? Well, it seems like Wick could end up killing Winston. At the end of Parabellum, Winston shot Wick in a shocking way on top of the Continental, so people think that our protagonist will try to get revenge in Chapter 4, and will probably try to kill Winston. Another idea is that Winston and John set up the whole scene on the rooftop as a last-ditch effort to stop the High Table. The thing is, if Winston really wanted to kill John, he would have shot him in the face, but instead, he shot him in the one place where John could still live.
You killed a man on company grounds, Jonathan. You leave me no choice but to declare you excommunicado. The doors to any service or provider in connection with the Continental are now closed to you.
And because of this, it's impossible to say what will happen between the two old friends. Another relationship people have been wondering about when it comes to Wick is his family, as the franchise is soon coming to an end. Some people are wondering whether Wick will see his family again. We don't really know much about Wick's family, apart from the fact that his wife died, and that he grew up in the Ruska Roma crime syndicate. Grayleaf on Reddit, though, thinks that Wick might have a close family that hasn't been shown yet. According to this person, Wick might have a long-lost brother from jail. The theory sounds a little too fast and furious in my opinion, especially since that was exactly what F9 was about. It also seems unlikely, because there's never been a police officer in a movie. That is, except for the one at the beginning of John Wick, who knows what John Wick does for a living. So it's unlikely that anything will be about prison. On the other hand, what does seem likely in a lot of people's theories is the fact that Cassian could very much still be alive. In John Wick 2, Cassian puts a gun to John's head. Not gonna lie, he's one of the most interesting criminals in the series, and the chase scene between him and Wick in Rome is also one of the most fun. At the end of the fight, Wick sticks a knife in Cassian's aorta and tells him that if he pulls the knife out, he'll die, but if he leaves it in, he'll live. There's a small chance that Cassian could have survived, which is why some people think he could come back. Some fans even predict that Cassian was probably able to stay alive by leaving the knife in his chest, but with the handle cut off. Boy, would that be something cool to see in Chapter 4. And that's all for the John Wick 4 plot predictions and theories.